YouTube, what's up, baby? We're back in this thing again for another review. This is Q's Insight. I am Callie, and today we're going to be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 5 entitled Part 5. Now, if you've been to this channel before, you already know how we do it. We started off with the premise, 3 favorite scenes, the grade, and then we on to the next one, right? So, again, Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 5 entitled Part 5. So in this one, we start off with the memory of Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker. And they're basically about to have a lightsaber duel, but it's a practice though. It's a practice lightsaber duel. And then from there, we see that Vader is the one that's having these images of these flashbacks, this scenario that took place. Vader then talks to Reva about Obi-Wan's location, and then after that, he ends up making Reva the Grand Inquisitor for her, job well done. And then we find out that Vader is headed to Obi-Wan on this planet called Jabim. Alright? Then from there we see Obi lands on Jabim with Leia and Tala, and then he talks to I believe his name is Roken about getting Leia back to her home planet. But he tells him that, we will get this situated. But for right now, we've got a lot of people here that need to get off planet. And I put them on hold to get off planet in order to save you. So now I got to get them off planet. And then after that, we'll work on getting Leia off planet. So then from there, we see Lola gets activated, and which is Leia's robot. But we of course know from the last episode that Leia's robot has been has a tracker and it has been hacked. So we see it start doing stuff to certain wires, like in the vents. And basically what he ends up doing is he ends up closing these doors to where in which the people of Jabim will not be able to escape. They won't be able to take off and leave off planet because the doors are closed. And then from there we see Obi-Wan. He sees like this, it's like kind of like a mural area for fallen Jedis, and like he picks up this robe, and then he sees like a basket full of lightsabers. So it was kind of crazy. And then after that, we go to Vader, and he's begun his attack on Jabim. He's sent down the stormtroopers, and they're being led by Reva for right now. He's still up in the ship, just chilling out. Then we see the flashback with that Vader was having of Obi-Wan and himself, but as Anakin at this time. We see it still playing through his mind, and they start battling with their lightsabers, and it's just pretty cool. And then after that, we see the people of Jabim. They're getting ready for Vader and the stormtroopers. So they're getting ready to take a stand against them. But like I said, Vader is still up in the ship, but the stormtroopers are there, and so is Reva. So, like I said, the people of Jabim are getting ready to take on the stormtroopers and Reva as best as they can. And then Roken tries to open the doors so they can fly out, but like I said, they figure out that they can't because the doors have been hacked by Lola, the robot. So they need a way to get into the vents and fix the wiring. So Leia basically nominates herself for the job. So she goes into the vents and she starts working on the wiring, so that way they can open the door, that way they can eventually escape if they're able to. then we see Obi-Wan, and he gets a message from Bill, and it's about, him saying, well, I heard about what's happening over there. Good luck with that. I'll go head down to Tatooine, and I will, kind of secretly watch over Luke because he needs help as well. You know what I'm saying? Just in case something happens. Then Tala tells Obi-Wan of how she became, per se, a good guy. You know what I'm saying? She's been working with the Empire. She told the story of where in which they got to this one area, and there were, certain people that needed to be killed off, and some of them were little kids, so they killed like 14 people. I think 6 of them were little kids, and she couldn't do anything to help. And that drastically changed her mind of, her being on the right side. So that's why she ended up, working with the Empire. But she continued to work with the Empire in order to have like a cover, so that way she can help out Haja, help people escape off planet and things like that. But she's an Empire corporal, whatever you want to say, but she is not really for that cause. She's just using it for cover. And then Obi-Wan tries to buy some time for the people of Jabim. He tells them that he's going to go actually talk to Reva and see if, just to buy some time so that they can get the door open, stuff like that. And then so when when Obi-Wan finds out, Obi-Wan finds out about Reva's past. He finds out that she was a youngling that was being trained when Order 66 took place, and she recounts seeing Anakin come in and her thinking that he was there to help, but then he starts killing all of her friends and all the rest of the Jedi that are in there, and her feeling hopeless, not knowing what to do, her having to pretend like she was dead and hide amongst the bodies. And Obi's like, well, sorry for that and everything like that. And she questions him like, where were you at? And Anakin was your Padawan, and like, just letting it all out per se. And then from that, Obi-Wan figures that Reva is not actually there to per se do Vader's bidding. She's actually there to get closer and closer and closer to him, to the point where she can actually try to assassinate him for what he did to her friends, her family, the Jedi. So that was a big twist. And I mean, I kind of felt like she was one of the younglings in the Order 66 attack, but I didn't know that the twist was that she actually isn't trying to help Vader out. She's doing what she has to get close to him in order to kill him. So that was a twist to me. And then after the little, revealing situation with Reva actually breaks through these doors that are keeping the stormtroopers and her away from Obi-Wan and the people of Jabim. She breaks through the doors and starts attacking with the stormtroopers. In this attack, while it's taking place, Tala and Ned B, Ned B is the robot, they end up both getting shot. And since Tala's, really, really hurt, Ned B's like, forget this, I'm saying, I'm going to do what I got to do. So he ends up starting shooting everybody else, whatever it may be. And then when he's about to actually die from being shot so much, he goes and he lays down in front of Tala, so that way, his body can be per se like a shield for her, so she doesn't get shot no more, and maybe she has a chance to be able to get up and run back to safety. But she figures that's not going to happen, or she figures that she's going to die anyway. So she takes a thermal detonator and sacrifices herself to blow away some of the stormtroopers and to try to cause damage to the troopers that were there on the floor, as well as Reva. So yeah. Then we go back to Vader in the ship, and he's informed that Reva is at Obi-Wan's throat, basically. Like, she basically has him. So, but then after that, Vader tells them to stand down, and Obi-Wan Kenobi is already theirs. He already knows that Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to turn himself in because, he is not going to want the rest of the civilians to get hurt over the fact that they're just after Obi-Wan. So that's what he does. He ends up turning himself in to the stormtroopers. Obi-Wan talks to Reva again, and they're like being low key about it. And she's saying like, now Vader's gonna come here. You brought Vader here or whatever. And he's like, no, I brought Vader to you, so that way you can, get your revenge type thing, and we can take him down together, and it doesn't have to be this way or whatever. And she's like, well, how do you know he doesn't know about, how do you know he won't see this coming? And he's like, well, he won't be able to see it coming. All he'll be able to do is focus on me. So secretly they kind of have a plan. So now she ends up letting him go back with the civilians. Vader is now on Jabim. He actually goes there from the ship, you know what I'm saying? And he heads for Obi-Wan. Leia eventually gets the doors open for the civilians to escape. Once they, get into the ship, they can leave now. And since Obi made this deal with Reva, like I said, he's been released. So everybody heads for the transport. Vader uses the Force to stop it from flying, brings it back down to the ground, starts ripping the ship apart. But through the ship being ripped apart, there's a hole, of course, and you can see another ship behind it take off and leave. So it was all a decoy, all a ploy for them to actually leave in the ship that he wasn't concentrating on. So now everybody that was on Jabim is safe per se, and they leave off planet. And then we see Vader looking at the ship mad that it took off, whatever it may be, and Reva sneaks up behind him and tries to kill him. But Vader senses her and senses what she's trying to do, so he stops her from doing it. Then they end up having a battle with each other. She's using her lightsaber, he's just using straight up Force, and then he doesn't even draw his lightsaber. And then eventually he pulls her lightsaber from her hand, splits it in two, gives her one of the lightsabers, and he holds the other one, and then they actually start to have a lightsaber duel. And pretty much, man, she gets taken out. Vader ends up stabbing her in the stomach, and she falls down to the ground. And he's like, did you really think that we didn't know? Did you really think that I didn't know your plan, youngling? So he's basically calling her a youngling, knowing that that's what she was when he had first met her. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy to see that happen. And so then it's also revealed that the Grand Inquisitor, that was the Grand Inquisitor before Vader had deemed Reva to be the Grand Inquisitor, the new Grand Inquisitor, he was still alive. So he comes out and he's like, says some slick stuff to her. And he says, well, we're going to leave you like right where we found you, in the trash. You know what I'm saying? So the Grand Inquisitor, Darth Vader, and the Stormtroopers, they leave her on that planet to basically die because she's been stabbed in her stomach. So we don't know if she's going to live or not, but, obviously they're thinking that she's just going to die, or they don't care, you know what I'm saying? And then we see earlier in the episode, Haja had dropped these few little, trinkets or whatever. It was either Hadra or Obi-Wan. I think it was Hadra, but it's weird because Reva ends up being alive enough to look at this trinket or whatever, and it's a hologram message projector, and it's the message that was sent to Obi-Wan Kenobi. So like I said, I'm confused of why Hadra would have it, but I could have swore that Hadra was the one that dropped that, but it could have easily as well been Obi-Wan that dropped it. So anyways, she plays a message and she finds out basically that, you know, Vader has a son and daughter, you know what I'm saying? And that, you know, Vader's son is on, you know, Tatooine. So possibly it could be that she's going to head there to try to protect them. But I don't know why she would try to head there to protect them, because I don't think Vader knows about him per se. Or she's going to head over there to try to kill Luke, because she's like, you know, if I can't get Vader, I'll get, you know, something else of his. So, yeah. We'll see what happens with that. And then we go back to the ship where, you know, Obi-Wan is with Roken and Leia and stuff like that. And Roken ends up telling them that, hey, you know, the hyperdrive is not working right now. So there's a chance that, you know, Vader and them can catch up with us. And then Obi-Wan has this bad feeling that something's going to happen. And he starts, and then we start seeing that, we see this like scene shoot to where Tatooine is. And we see Luke laying in the bed and we're like, oh, so something's going to happen to him type stuff. And that's basically it for the episode, man. So 3 of my favorite scenes will be Obi-Wan and Anakin flashback when they were fighting and just having a conversation as student and teacher. It's cool to see that again, you know what I'm saying? Brought back so many memories, but cool to see that again. And the lightsaber battle was way better, you know what I'm saying, than it was on episode 3 between the two. And then my second favorite scene would be Reva and Obi-Wan's conversation that they have about her revealing, you know, that she was a youngling and, you know, did stuff like that. It was a cool conversation, and it also led me to feel more open about accepting Reva and liking her character more so than not. You know what I mean? She's still done some bad stuff, but still, like, that revelation right there, like, kind of pushed me toward liking her. You know what I'm saying? My third favorite scene would be Vader versus Reva. That was a cool fight, you know. Vader just stopping her lightsaber swings with the Force, and taking her lightsaber and splitting it in two, and like, look, like, let's go ahead, let's do it. And then him just taking her out. You know what I'm saying? It was a crazy scene. But that would be 3 of my favorite scenes. The grade for this, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, man. Definitely was a great episode. My favorite thus far. So, yeah, man. If you guys saw the episode, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. As always, this is Q's Insight. I am Callie. Until next time.